Hello there folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome to part 17 of the F1 2014 Ferrari career mode. Today, it is time for the United States Grand Prix, one of my favourites of the season at the Circuit of Americas as well. A good motorcycling track, I think. It probably suits cars better, to be quite honest, but it's still a good motorcycling track. But of course, we are here in Formula 1 cars today. So 14 laps of the 3.43 mile circuit, 20 turns, 2 long straights, and as it says there, it's a demanding track which requires a well-balanced car with medium to high downforce. Now, if you remember last episode, we did get offered a new contract from Ferrari, which we were absolutely going to accept. I mean, we're not going to do another season on F1 2014, but just in principle, we are going to renew our contract with Ferrari, just in principle. But there is a chance that Lewis Hamilton could win the championship this weekend. There are only 100 points available, and if Lewis Hamilton wins this weekend, so there's a 67-point gap at the moment. If Lewis Hamilton wins the race this weekend, he will put 75 points between us and him, or whoever's there, if you like, at least. And he'll win the championship. And that's something that, to be fair, I'm surprised he didn't do earlier. He's absolutely dominated this season. It's a credit to us, I think, really, for us to be so close to him. But our goal for the rest of this season is not the Drivers' Championship, because we're not going to get there. But equally, a second place in the championship would be absolutely awesome. Our goal is to beat Red Bull in the Constructors. And we're 21 points ahead of them in the Constructors at the moment. So hopefully we can keep it that way. But without any further ado, let's go for the third from last race of the season. It's coming to a close very, very quickly now. Here is the United States Grand Prix. Well, I didn't think there was going to be any rain this weekend. Somehow it turns out that there might be. Look at this, 5% chance of rain for qualifying. La 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 la. Jesus. Heavy rain in the next 2 sessions after this. That is going to be frightening. But for this session, because there is a slight chance of rain, might as well get out there on the primes as soon as possible, set a lap time, and get through without any sweat. Our first lap in Q1 should put us safe, you would think. We're about 1.5 seconds quicker than Daniel Kvyat, his fast time in the first 2 seconds. We've got a problem, though, in that there isn't a setup from TRL Limitless for this race, which is a setup I normally use. And actually, I'll tell you what, we've either lost a lot of time or Daniel Kvyat's all of a sudden gone a lot quicker. Well, Daniel Kvyat's probably set a better time. He's on the options, right, that kind of explains it. So we're ahead of Magnussen. What time has Nico Rosberg just set for Mercedes? Let's have a quick look when that comes through. Anytime, Rosberg. 143.1. And speaking of the devil, he's right behind us, goodness me. So we've got to improve our lap time, and as I've just said, there's no setup from TRL Limitless for this race, which I often use his setups and find quite good. So I've had to kind of craft a setup of my own, because I tried somebody else's setup before and did a few laps around the circuit, and the car was just terrible to manage. I like something that's snappy on the brakes and quick to turn, and the setup that I was using before had neither of those qualities. So I've made kind of a custom setup of my own, nothing fancy, and it's not too bad. I don't think it gets the most out of the car. So he might be a little bit down this weekend, but nevertheless, a decent banker lap. But as I always say with these sessions, we've got 3 laps worth of fuel, so we might as well use them and see what we can do. Well, the good news is we're through and we're consistent. That's absolutely fine. But a few shocks in this session. Firstly, Kamui Kobayashi's through. Fair play to him. But Sutil, Gutierrez and Grosjean all drop out. Particularly the time of Grosjean is shocking. It's 1.4 seconds off past Maldonado. Surely none of those went out on the primes. They certainly didn't. But fair play to Kobayashi. He's got through to a few Q2 sessions this year. Way above what the car can do. 2.2 seconds above the time of Marcus Ericsson. And what a performance it is from him. But as you can see, the rain is starting to drop already. So expect it to be inters, if not wets, at the start of Q2. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not wets and inters for the start of Q2. We're on options. But I've got a funny feeling that it might be worth getting out there absolutely straight away. To do what we can. Put 4 laps in, because I don't think it's going to drive for very long. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we go out now and it's starting to rain. No, I mean, it's drizzling, but I think we can get a lap out of this at least. But put it this way, it's going to be our fastest lap of the session, so we've got to be quick about it. The time's going to get slower and slower, but it's certain that in this crossover period, the options are going to be a lot quicker than the intermediates, certainly while it's only fallen at this intensity. But, you know, it's nearly a 2-minute lap round here, and things can change very quickly in 2 minutes. So, first lap set, Valtteri Bottas, a 1:44 dead. Hulkenberg can't beat that, and I don't think we will, to be honest. It's not been the best lap from us, but it certainly hasn't been the best lap. I'd say what it's going to be over the line. DRS, a 1:45 dead, but luckily it puts ourselves in third. And the positive thing I can say is that I've gone past Rosberg, Button, Magnussen, and possibly Alonso on the last lap. Not kind of been Alonso. It was somebody else. I can't remember who it was. But there were certainly 4 cars I went past on the last lap that were doing installation laps. Obviously, you know, if the weather conditions get poor in the next 2 minutes, then they're going to really struggle in this session. But it only looks like it's drizzling at the moment, so maybe it might not necessarily be just a 1-lap shootout, but we'll have to find out. But again, we'll do another lap. We've got the fuel for it. We were significantly impeded, actually, by Kevin Magnussen at the corner we've just gone through before, because he just parked it on the racing line, meaning we had to go on the outside. And obviously, it's a nice and twisty chicane kind of corner there, and we were well out of line for that, so we can certainly improve our Sector 2 time by at least half a second here. But there's a bit of a train ahead of Hamilton, who's just ahead of us, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. But expect some mixed results, particularly if this rain starts picking up, which it absolutely is. I told you we'd see some shocks, but not like this. No Mercedes in the top 3. 1 Mercedes out of the session. There's Nico Rosberg in 12th. Vettel out as well in 11th, and both of the McLaren cars. Poor Kobayashi, who couldn't take advantage, and the Toro Rosso of Kvyat is out as well. So there's a Lotus in Q3. Don't think we've seen that at all this year. John-Eric Verne 10th. Felipe Massa 7th. Sergio Perez in 8th. Nico Hulkenberg with a great chance, much like in Rush, to get a good qualifying position. Ourselves in 6th. Hamilton 4th. Ricardo 1st. Bottas 2nd. And Alonso 1st. I think I said Ricardo 1st. I meant 3rd. But this should be a very good shootout. Here it comes. It's going to be in the rain as well, so very exciting. Once again, like the last session, the first laps are definitely going to count because it's getting heavier here. There's more rain dropping on the ground. It's intermediates at the moment. We're out there fairly early on. I don't know about the rest of the guys. I know that they're all out there, but where they are in terms of proximity on the track close to us is another question to be answered. But we usually take advantage in these wet conditions, so can we do the same here today? We had to take these first set of lap times for a pinch of salt because sometimes the AI like to just skate around the circuit and go as slow as snails. But our first lap time is the only one we're really interested in, and it's going to absolutely whoop the AI. It's a 1:48.6. Let's see what the other guy's going to do second time round. I think they're about a minute ahead because they set their lap times when we went onto the 6th sector 1 bar, which is roughly about 30 seconds. So yeah, about a minute and 10, minute and 20 above us. So let's see what they can do on their second laps. And equally, whether we can improve. We've got 2 laps of fuel. The weather conditions are getting worse, but who knows? And that rather confirms it. Nico Hulkenberg currently on pole with a 1:48.3. Can we improve our time by 0.3 of a second? I think that Hamilton, etc. have gone past the time being. They haven't actually. No, I thought they had. Getting all excited thinking Hulkenberg could follow up a podium with a potential pole here. But Hamilton, etc. might well have come into the pits because I don't think they were that far behind Hulkenberg. But let's see what we can do on this lap. Can we take pole position back? And judging by that sector, you would guess we would. So only the Hulk has braved it. Only the Hulk has stayed out and braved it. Everybody else coming to the pits after that first lap attempt. That's really shocking to see. But can we beat Nico Hulkenberg on this lap? Because I feel like it might be the last opportunity we have. It's a bit slidey coming across the line, but we beat him by 0.2 of a second. There's a few drivers coming out now. They are going back out onto the intermediate tyres. But I think it's a little bit too little too late, personally. Well, well, well. I said it'd be too little too late from, didn't I? We're on pole. The best thing about this is that there's a Force India who lines up behind us. Quite incredible. Lewis Hamilton takes 3rd, Ricardo 4th, Alonso 5th, the 2 Williams cars then Sergio Perez has got to be gutted to be lined up so far behind his teammate, and Hulkenberg taking all the accolades over the previous races. Jean-Eric Verne 9th and past Maldonado 10th, but remember, it should be dry tomorrow, so this is going to be a very interesting race. Particularly watch out for the Force India. Can he take 2 podiums in 2 races? Wow, what a result that would be. If Hamilton wins the race, Hull finishes 8 points better off than we do. He takes the World Championship. But we're not bothered about that. We are looking for loftier heights and hoping to take this championship battle to the next race. But Nico Rosberg, with that qualifying performance, is most certainly out of it. It's unbelievable. Nico Hulkenberg lines up on the front row with us. The 5 lights are on. We've got to climb that hill and hopefully we'll come out of that left-hander in first. We are away for the American Grand Prix. What a fantastic start we've had. No mucking about, no looking at anybody else. Let's just get through this first corner. Nico Hulkenberg to the inside though. Ran a little bit wide, but we're okay. Hulkenberg out of it in second, but what a good start of Hamilton, who keeps that 3rd place. Looks like Nico Rosberg has not made any ground at the start, but Hulkenberg is running away with us. Nico Hulkenberg, the star of the last few races. Really poor line though through those corners. Kind of cutting and then just overcompensating in the corners to come after that. Very weird to be going in the dry now, especially after how wet it was before. Just the grip we've got on this track is amazing. So we've got Hulkenberg second, Hamilton third. I think the Red Bull of Ricciardo in fourth. Bottas fifth, Maldonado up to sixth. That's a fantastic start for him. Rosberg gets up into ninth place. Vettel down to 18th. Must have had a particularly bad start. Kobayashi up to 13th. Not a good start for Red Bull. And I mean, all three of our boxes are being ticked today. We're beating Rosberg, which is good for our rivalry. We're beating Hamilton, which takes the championship battle a little bit further. And we are also whooping the Red Bulls. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I mean, it'll be 35 points for us as it stands. Only 12 for Red Bull. It's been very uneventful, to be honest, from our end at the start of this race. Hulkenberg still leads Hamilton, which is amazing, to be quite honest. Rosberg, though, a good start for him. He's up to 5th, but, well, I better say, I didn't think he was that high up. He's just jumped into the pits, so that's a very early pit stop for Nico Rosberg. Not exactly sure what's going on there. I thought he was about 8th, so when I saw he was 5th, that was unbelievable. But, of course, it's because going through the pit lane is a lot quicker than going through that last corner, hence why he was classified as 5th when we looked at it. But as it stands, we will take the championship down to the next race in Brazil. I mean, we'll have, is it 67 points at the moment? So it'll be 57 with 75 left on the table. I mean, I can't see us doing anything in the championship unless Hamilton has a DNF, for example, in one of the last 3 races. But there's still hope. Rosberg's completely out of it, but we've had a brilliant second half of the season. Been one of the best men of the season. Apart from that Japanese Grand Prix where we had a bit of a blip, but this is the DRS straight. They're a little bit closer than they were last time to us. So let's see what happens here, whether Hulkenberg and Hamilton can take advantage. Hulkenberg up the inside. But he doesn't go for it. So we hold our ground in first place. Hamilton can't make any ground either, but Alonso up to 4th. Absolutely fantastic from him. And again, we're going to take more points away from Red Bull in this race. That'd be absolutely awesome. But Nico Hulkenberg, wow, words just fail me when I talk about how good he's been in the last few races. Absolutely awesome. But pit stop time on the next lap, so I'll be back to you when that is, when that is the case. This is going to be an interesting story because Alonso has just latched right onto the back of the other guys. Now, we know that Hamilton will be, Alonso will be staying out another lap because he's our teammate. But the question is, will Hulkenberg and Hamilton do the same? Because if they both pit this lap, there's a serious chance that Fernando Alonso could be the leading man coming out of the pit stops. This is going to be very interesting. Let's see if Nico or Lewis follows into the pits. I think that Lewis will because obviously Nico pitted on lap 4, which I don't quite understand. We did corner cut there, so a little bit cheeky. They do. Both of them follow us into the pits, so this is going to be fascinating. Can Alonso get the jump on us? And equally, can we get out the pits unscathed? Looks good to me. We're out ahead. Is Hulkenberg going to be held? Absolutely not. Hulkenberg out right behind us. So this is going to be absolutely fascinating, isn't it? Absolutely fascinating. Let's see if anybody's on the start-finish straight. There is, but not really of any danger. So I don't know where Nico Rosberg is, for example. I mean, Rosberg is, well, way behind. Way behind. That's an absolute shocker for Rosberg. Not really much surprise there. Who's that just behind? Magnussen's just behind Hamilton. So, unfortunately, doesn't hold up Hamilton. But we've done pretty well to be 8th and 7th. But let's see. It was Alonso and Bottas, the big boys, who stayed out. Let's see if they can get the jump on us. Here we are then. Fernando Alonso is in the pits right now. There's a real chance that he could be out ahead of us. Remember, he was only a second behind. And he was going pretty quickly. I mean, catching up to Hulkenberg and Hamilton that quickly was mighty impressive. So let's see where Fernando Alonso is going to come out. He's coming out of the pits right now. Can we power past him and Bottas? They're fairly good. Alonso, though, is out. It's going to be close. It's turn 1. Oh, we're just out ahead of him. But look at this. Alonso and Valtteri Bottas have jumped ahead of Hulkenberg and Hamilton. Hamilton now down to 5th. I don't want to say it, but, you know, that's another 5 points in our favour. This championship battle's not over yet. It's really not. And full points for Ferrari as it stands. This is just quite amazing. What a strategy by Alonso and Valtteri Bottas. What driving from the two of them. And Hamilton's in quite a poor position. But he'll have a brilliant lead in the driver's standings. But Nico Rosberg must be... Oh, my God. And so must Red Bull. I mean, you know, the points for them are going to be absolutely dreadful. And this will go a long way, particularly if we can get first and second here towards securing second in the Constructors' Championship. We're looking pretty good at the moment, can't complain. Alonso is below a second behind us, but no massive threat. Bottas third. Hamilton has made his way up to fourth. Hulkenberg fifth, which is still a great result for Force India. Not quite the beauty that second or third would be, but still a great result. Rosberg's made his way up to sixth, but the Red Bull drivers are absolutely nowhere today. I mean, not so much from Vettel is a shock, because Vettel qualified outside the top 10, but for Daniel Ricciardo, that's going to be a massive shock. But I think Rosberg's actually up to fifth now. He is, yes, past Hulkenberg. But remember, Rosberg pitted very early on, so expect him to relinquish that place later on, because his tyre's just going to fall off the cliff. Well, I said he wouldn't hold it for long, but I didn't mean he'd get about that far. He's pitted again for the Primes. Rosberg on a quirky, let's say, two-stop strategy in this race. Absolutely no idea what he's doing. Must have had an incident on lap 4 to pit that early. But Hulkenberg is now back up to fifth. Rosberg out of the points. Penultimate lap time then, and we've not really controlled this race. Tell you what, Alonso's bloody closer than he ever has been. Jesus Christ, he's going to come up the inside, but he's going to bail out. No real surprise there. Bottas is challenging him into the first corner. That's the problem with this game. When the drivers challenge, then they often bail out, and in big style, meaning that the driver behind them can get past. So Valtteri Bottas takes P2 for now. It's a little bit of a shame, but this has been a fantastic race for us. Again, we've not really controlled it, really, because we've been way too close to the guys behind. But if you look at it another way, we have controlled the race because, well, we've kept them behind. Even though it's been a very short gap, we have kept them behind. And we are going to gain 13 points on Lewis Hamilton today, a full 25 points on Nico Rosberg. So the battle for second, I think, is well and truly over. But the interesting thing is that the championship isn't quite over yet, with a 67-point gap now being reduced today to, that's 13.54. Let's say Hamilton gets second in Brazil, retires in Abu Dhabi, and we win both the race and we're world champion. You know, that's not such an inconceivable fear, is it? But, you know, at this point, we're that far behind that we need something big for him to happen in Abu Dhabi. Not necessarily in Brazil, because obviously the Abu Dhabi race is double points. So if we take maximum points, we need Hamilton to only get 20, which, as I said, requires him to get... I mean, even if he got second in Brazil and then 10th in Abu Dhabi, that would be enough. But that is quite literally what he has to get. I suppose he retires from the Brazil race and we win, and that's 29 points. And then what? In that last race, we've got to gain another 29, so actually another 30. So he can only get, what, 20 points. So where does that need Hamilton to finish? 20 points. So fifth. I mean, that's not so inconceivable, is it? But we'll see what happens in the next two races. We've definitely got a chance, I think. But what a result this will be for both Valtteri Bottas and Fernando Alonso. It's not necessarily over yet. Alonso could pip Valtteri Bottas to the post. As long as Hamilton doesn't get past either of these guys, that's absolutely fine. We've been a little bit cheeky with some of the corner cuts we've done today, I must admit. And I don't think we've been the fastest guy. I just think that because we got pole, we've had a real chance from the start. Nico Hulkenberg, a little bit unlucky in that mid-stint. Seemed to lose a little bit of pace, but fifth position is good for them nonetheless. Shame that we've lost DRS. Who knows, we might need it on the front straight for about 0.2 seconds if we try and win the race if somebody gets past us. But the last chance now for Bottas, Alonso and co to get past them. We've had a fantastic second half of the season. That's why we are in this position with the potential, if things go incredibly our way. I really can't see it, but if things go our way, we could well win the championship. Bottas attacks to the outside line. We're going to go up the inside, though, and get past Bottas. And we'll also give him a nudge on the way through to hope that Alonso can get through, but doesn't quite happen, unfortunately. But Nico Rosberg just managed to scrape the solitary point, it looks like today. Quite an unbelievable race. Not the most exciting, but for us, another 25 points to the bag. It doesn't look like Alonso, though, he's going to take second. A brilliant race from Valtteri Bottas. I mean, that just shows, really. Apart from us, it's been 4 different names on the podium in the last 2 races, so that is absolutely fantastic news. But coming around the penultimate corner, and now the final corner of the Texas Grand Prix, it's a Ferrari on top of the podium. It's not Raikkonen in 2018, but it's as good as that. We're on top of the podium again. We have won the American Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso finishes third. Our rival all the way down in 10th. Ouch. Brilliant result. Sebastian Vettel recovers to 6th. Rosberg only 10th. Massa 8th. Button 7th. And Perez in 9th. Ricardo, though, goodness knows what happened to him. He finished in 15th. Must have had an incident with Nico Rosberg, you would have thought. And the only retirement from the race, Kevin Magnussen. So in the championship, as I said before, that puts us 54 points behind Hamilton with 75 left on the table. So it looks like that Vettel's going to get 4th. Sorry, I don't think Alonso will really catch up to him, although if we're considering ourselves to be in the fight with Hamilton, then I suppose anything could happen, couldn't it? But really good race for us there. We are now 53 points ahead of Red Bull in the Constructors. That is a massive lead. Thinking that back to Italy, Red Bull were a long way ahead of us. That is quite outstanding. But 2 Ferraris on the podium. We're joined, though, by Valtteri Bottas. On the top step, though, is us. 2nd place for the Williams team. Brilliant stuff. I don't even know if they got a podium so far this year. But great finish of Valtteri Bottas. 2 surprises, really. Hulkenberg qualified 2nd. It's Valtteri Bottas, though, that finishes 2nd. Alonso 3rd. What a strange race. So only 2 races to go now in the F1 2014 season. Quite incredible how quickly this season is coming to an end. But we have won our rivalry, it looks like. Because, well, the name of Rosberg's gone. Ah, it's because we've renewed our contract. Right, of course. 7th race win of the season. Great results. And it looks like now we are going to win that teammate challenge. Because Alonso obviously can't beat us in the outraced. He can equal us in the podium, so that will make it 2 each. But we can obviously out-qualify him in the next race or 2, and that might beat him there. But fascinating stuff, and if you've enjoyed that, make sure to leave a like down below. Comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for 2 more Formula 1 2014 races around the Autodromo Jolly Carlos Pace. We can win the teammate challenge at this race again. Lewis Hamilton can win the championship at this race, and of course, the final race of the season coming up then, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But I hope you've enjoyed it again during these times. Remember to continue to take care. I always get that the wrong way around. Take care and stay safe. It's really important that you keep doing that because this is not over yet. This virus is. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been TIJ Gary. Until the next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye for now.